it a few seconds to ensure that the live has started properly, because with these new settings on Facebook, it isn't always automatically obvious at my end, but it is now. I am aware we are now live. So hello there to you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are watching this. Maybe you're watching it live, as I went live at 12:15 p.m. on the 6th of May 2022 on my Facebook profile, facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist. Or maybe you're watching the replay or watching it on YouTube, Vimeo, wherever it's been uploaded. In any event, this video, as it says, is called Hypnotist Fraud Warning. Ignore at your own risk. Beware the hypnosis trainers who lie, cheat and deceive. And as it says, it would be greatly appreciated if you could please share this video far and wide to help protect other people from getting ripped off and shafted and spending money on nonsense, frankly. Now, there are a grand total of 14 links in the video description that you will find below this video on places like Vimeo or YouTube. On Facebook, you'll likely find a description of both on my profile, but then when it's in groups, it'll be below. Don't look at them yet. Look at them after you've watched everything in this video. So if you join this video partway through the live, it will make more sense to you to watch it all from the beginning as well, because you need to know it all. Okay? I've called it, as I said, and I'll repeat again, Hypnotist Fraud Warning. Ignore at your own risk. Sounds a bit dramatic, but it's true. That's what this is. Beware the hypnosis trainers who lie, cheat and deceive. There are so many, and we're concentrating on hypnosis trainers here. Don't get me started on the hypnotherapists who lie in groups and deceive and claim they're making an absolute fortune, and then all you have to do, and that's link number one you can find above, all you have to do is go on Companies House here in England. It only works in England, but you might be able to find an equivalent in your country, okay, where they've got their incorporated company registered or whatever. And you go in there, and as long as you know the name of that person's limited or incorporated company if you're in America, but this link, you'll have to find your own site outside of England, but this is for England, Scotland and Wales. Companies House Beta is link number one, and you can go and you can type in the person's name, and then you have to narrow it down, hopefully by knowing their address or the area of England they're in. Or you can type in their company name, which by law, if they've got a limited company, would be at the bottom of their website and will be on any business documentation. Otherwise, that person will be breaking the law if they've got a limited company, trading as such, and not putting it on all their marketing materials. You find out their company name or their name and rough area of England, and you can track them down that way. And then you can find what limited companies they own, and you can find also their company accounts are submitted, how much money they're actually turning over, what their expenses are, and what bottom line profit they've made. And boy, is it eye-opening and entertaining. I'm telling you, if you go on there, it doesn't matter who you think of. Paul McKenna, yeah, his company accounts are on there at that link. The Speakmans from this morning in England, yep, their company accounts are on there. You can go and have a route nosy around. Basically, any famous name, media hypnotist or life coach you can think of that's bothered to set up a limited company, you'll be able to find their accounts and have a look how much they're actually turning over, what their expenses are, and what the bottom line profit is. Now, here's the thing. Turnover's vanity. Profit is sanity. In other words, it's all well and good turning over an absolute fortune, but if you're spending an absolute fortune in order to earn that absolute fortune, to make yourself look famous and successful, and your bottom line profits are actually very low and lower than many sole traders are actually making and taking home after expenses, then, well, speak for itself really. Just because somebody looks incredibly successful doesn't necessarily mean they're as successful as you may think they are, and that's easily given away by looking, in a lot of cases, at Companies House. Now, there's other people that you'll go and look at on Companies House and you go, wow, they're turning over that much, and they're managing to do it by only spending this much, and that means they're making this massive profit, and you'll be surprised, and you'll also realise that a lot of those people making the massive profits are the people who actually don't shout about it. And actually, you know what? They're actually also the people who you may not actually have heard of, because they're only famous to their niche market that they market to, but not to the general public at large. Have a play around at that link, and you'll get what I mean. But well, by the way, you won't find anything on people who are sole traders. Now, I'll tell you straight up front, I am a sole trader. You will find I set up 2 limited companies once, but I shut them down. I decided in the end not to use them because I decided, you know what? My only real motivation for getting a limited company was to pay less tax. And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? In the end, the more tax I pay, the more money I'm making. Simple as that. So rather than it being a negative thing, celebrate paying more tax, because the more tax you're paying, the more money you are making. Simple as that. But look, that is the major reason why people set up a limited company. It's to, or an incorporated, it's to pay less tax. The other is because it gives them a perceived level of respectability. It looks like a company, and that's what a lot of them use it for. And that becomes evidently clear when you go on the Companies House beta search and check out some of the so-called successful hypnotherapy and NLP training companies and trainers, and you search their names or their companies, and you look at the company accounts, and you look, you're only turning over that, but you're spending all this, and you're only making this amount of money. Now, either A, they're lying on the company accounts and committing income tax fraud, or B, they're lying on their social medias and to their potential customers, either directly by claiming to earn more money than they are, or by omission by claiming that their turnover is actually their profit, when in actual fact, no, turnover, then deduct expenses, and the profit's what's left over, or a combination thereof. It's an interesting exercise to do, because I'm telling you now, I've done it, and it's eye-opening how many people are lying, blatantly lying, about how much money they're making, how much money they're turning over, or how much. It's ridiculous. Some of these so-called successful hypnotherapy trainers are actually, their bottom line profits are less than some people, i.e. those that put in a bit of extra overtime as well, could earn just stacking shelves in Aldi or Lidl in England that actually pay slightly above national minimum wage. But there's people who are apparently successful hypnotherapy trainers who are actually earning little more than people who are stacking shelves in the supermarket. And no offence to people stacking shelves in the supermarket, but these hypnotherapy trainers I'm on about are giving the perception, or trying to give the perception, and sometimes blatantly lying to people through social media, through videos, through omission sometimes, that they're making a mass amount of money when they're not. Or, yes, they may turn over, some of them turn over a mass amount of money, but they're spending a mass amount of money in order to turn over that mass amount of money, so their profit is very, very, very small. Very modest indeed. And having looked at that, I can tell you, bloody hell, I was amazed. I'm amazed that I actually turn over and make more money than certain people. I'm going to leave them nameless, because I'm not giving them free publicity. But I was amazed. I was shocked. I did not think for 1 minute that my turnover, let alone my profits, would be greater than certain individuals. But bloody hell, it is eye-opening to search people in the personal development arena, self-development arena, hypnotherapy, NLP, related mind therapies. Search their name. You might have to do some research, because their limited company by law will be in their birth name. And and they may be using a trading name or a performance name. Makes it a little bit more difficult, but their company name should be on the website. Unless they're a sole trader, in which case you're not going to be able to find out what they're making, or that's the way to keep things personal and private. That's not why I'm a sole trader. It's just pure and simple. I celebrate paying tax. The more tax I pay, the more money I'm making. That is one thing. And the other thing is I couldn't be asked. It's irrelevant anyway. The point is, check out all these things before you ever consider spending a single penny with any hypnosis trainer. Because if you uncover the fact they're lying about, how successful they are that way, that should be a red flag. Other thing, second link down, there is a link. The second link you'll find above or below this video is 10 questions you should ask all hypnosis, hypnotherapy or mind therapy trainers before you ever spend a single penny with them. Yes, indeedy. These 10 questions, okay, you should ask them before you part with a single penny. And then don't just blindly take the answers that are given to you. You should do some research into the truth, validity behind what you're being told or the impression that's being given. Because as I've said, many trainers out there lie through their teeth, or they omit facts or twist or distort them, try and make themselves look better. The 10 questions you should be asking are, or 10 bullet points, because some are not questions, they're just best practice things to do. Number 1. Check out their career, resume and history. Okay? What have they actually done in the real world rather than just in the consulting room? How much money are they actually making? What social proof have they got? Testimonials from clients, past students. Then check out the past students. Are the people they've taught, are any of them now famous name television hypnotists, life coaches? Are any of them featured in the media? Have any of them got best-selling books? Are any of them turning over 6 figures a year turnover with a big profit, or a smaller amount but with a massive profit? Okay? Check these things out. Do your research. Number 2, ask to see testimonials from their past students. Number 3, are they a published author and noted expert? Number 4, what qualifications and trainings have they got from other people in the industry? Number 5, can you try their training before you buy it? Are they brave enough to let you check out their training? Number 6, do they offer home study options as well, or do they poo-poo them and lie to you that it's not possible to learn in the comfort, privacy and safety of your own home? Because believe me, it is, and I prove it and put my money where my mouth is in a moment. Number 7, do they offer a full money-back guarantee? And I mean a quantifiable one, a results-driven one. I bet they don't. Number 8, do they comprehensively teach all of the laws, health and safety, duty of care, GDPR laws, and all the other laws, rules, regulations that relate and surround hypnosis in all its forms, as well as psychological talking therapies in all its forms, and how not abiding by these and other business compliance laws could invalidate your insurance as a therapist, or their insurance as a trainer, because they've got a duty of care to you as well. Check into those things. Number 9, do they indirectly rip you off after you've done training with them? In other words, do they make you pay money for an introductory course, then entice you to go on a master practitioner and an advanced master practitioner, and then, worse still, try to entice you to pay money to then do a trainer's course and encourage you to go out there training other people when you haven't even done anything in the real world yourself? And you've been taught by someone who's never really done anything in the real world themselves, which is the case with well over 90% of the hypnotherapy, NLP and mind therapy and other trainers out there. They may look successful, but they're not really outside of the consulting room when you do real research. Number 10, have they achieved worldwide media recognition and coverage? But people who go, I don't court the media, but the fact is the cream rises to the top, and if you are any good and you end up treating celebrity clients, high paying people, then you will get pulled into the media, like I have been, for example, to have a therapeutic encounter with Billy Crystal and Robert De Niro to help promote their film Analyse That. My time treating a lady and curing her fear of traffic wardens made the front page and a double page spread in Britain's largest circulated and largest read newspaper at the time. I've been in hundreds of media publications around the world, on hundreds of TV shows. I'm not saying that to brag, but it's all easily proven. The proof's there. There's video clips on YouTube. You can search the internet, I give links to them on my website. The point is, these things should be easy to find if the person's genuinely done them. Many people claim to have done stuff, but then when you go searching, you can't find the proof to back it up. That's the point. Don't take their word blindly. Actually check things out. There are so many liars out there. The next thing, people ask me, quite recently actually, have asked Alex, or Jonathan Royal as I'm also known, why don't you speak at conferences? Well, I've got some exciting news about that in a minute, point 4. But generally speaking, and that's link number 3 you'll find above, it explains fully why I do not, as a rule, speak at hypnosis, NLP, mind therapy or other related conferences. The bottom line reason is because it's a racket, okay? It's a racket in that you might think as a bystander that because someone's speaking at a hypnotherapy or NLP conference, that means that person knows what they're talking about. That to be a speaker, they must have some real world success. They must be doing as well as they claim to be. But you know what? None of the conference speakers, except one that I know of, actually do due diligence in the areas of making sure that people are earning the kind of monetary income they claim to be. They don't tend to do the due diligence on checking out that the person's actually done what they claim to have done in the real world consistently, and that they've got the social proof and evidence to back that up. And the reason they don't is because they don't have to pay these people to speak at the conferences. But as the conference organizer, they get to keep any profits made from organising the conference and selling the tickets. Plus they get to sell their own products there and this, that, the other. Because obviously it's a profit-driven enterprise for them. However, the speakers at the vast majority of these conferences basically pay to be there. And what I mean by that is they have to apply to be a speaker. Well, if they were any good, they would get headhunted, approached, and the conference organiser would go, hey, we know you're actually the best in this particular area. Come and speak at our event. That isn't what happens here. The people put a proposal in, okay, and then the organiser will basically decide who to pick, not so much on what the person's going to speak about or what success they've got, but as has that person got a big social media following, because if they have, they're likely to help the conference organiser to sell more tickets to the conference, thus meaning the conference organiser makes more profit. Because that's what motivates them, really. Okay? Not the truth and validity of whether or not the speakers actually have achieved anything of real note in the real world consistently and do they have real social proof behind it. It's about them as the conference organiser making money. And also they don't want to rock the status quo. They're scared of anyone who would point out who the fraudsters and shysters are. That's one of the reasons I would never get accepted even if I did apply. It's because I'd turn around and go, that person's full of shit, even if they were speaking on the same conference. If I had the proof and evidence that someone was a blatant liar and fraud, I'm going to call them out. Simple as that. That is why I never make any claims that cannot be backed up 1,000,000%, because I sure as hell know I'm like Marmite. Loads of people hate me out there, and if they could find the evidence or proof that what I was saying was untrue, believe me, I know they would try and use it against me, because they always bring up the bullshit about me having been in prison, which is fully explained at circusofthemind.net. That's circus, C-I-R-C-U-S, circusofthemind.net. Fully explained there in the fact that it's currently being appealed and my convictions will shortly get overturned, and it's all due to a massive legal corruption cover-up with Rupert Murdoch's now shut, defunct News of the World newspapers. We're not here to talk about that. You can find out more about that if you want at circusofthemind.net, but that's where the bullshit comes from that people spread about me. The fact is, anything else, any claim I make is backed up fully by evidence, facts, and reality, because I know people would love to be able to try and pull me down. So I'll happily, point out where people are lying and basically, arguably, therefore, obtaining money by deception. Because if you lie that you're making more money than you actually are, if you lie and say that you've done things you haven't done, and then people spend money with you, arguably you obtain money by deception, which is a criminal offence. And a lot of hypnotherapy trainers, not all obviously, but a bloody lot of them, are arguably guilty of that. And you can work this out for yourself by doing the due diligence that I'm telling you about. So I don't speak at conferences because I'm not applying to speak for someone else to help them make money. No, if I'm going to help them make money, they're going to pay me. Or at the very least, they're going to pay my travel expenses. They're going to pay for my 5-star hotel. They're going to pay for my food, my drinks, and any other associated expenses. And then they're also going to let me sell my stuff at the back of the room as well and keep 100% of the profits, not have to give a percentage to the conference organizer, which is the case. Or they're going to pay me a fee to be a speaker, and then I would perhaps split the back of the room, sales 50-50 with the organizer. But I ain't showing up for free. The only time I would do that is if people guarantee me there would be at least a certain number of cash-rich individuals there, so that I knew that I was going to make a certain level of money. And in fact, I'd want a financial guarantee in place anyway. But that's by the by. The point is, most of you may not realise that the vast majority of speakers at these conferences have applied to be there, and then they pay their own travel expenses, their own food, their own drink, their own hotels, their own expenses in being there. And the only money they make, if they do, is selling stuff at the back of the room and maybe possibly getting people signed up to the courses later. Well, here's the thing. I don't need to go to events at my own expense to advertise what I do, because I'm fucking like Marmite. I'm loved or hated, but I'm rated either positively by some people, negatively by others. But the fact is, I'm talked about. Some people call me a complete and utter star. Other people call me a complete and utter I'll bleep it rather than swearing. I don't care. I'm being talked about, and that spreads the word, and I get a consistent stream of students. And in fact, to prove that, there are links above. Anyway, the great news is that somebody who has got the balls to let someone who will call out the liars, the frauds and the cheats, as I will name and shame at live events the liars, the frauds and the cheats. I'll do it here now. For example, one person who I've exposed over the years as a liar is the creator of the Swan, or as I like to call it, the naked pendulum, because when you take the pendulum away, what you're left with, if you were holding a pendulum, I'll hold a pen, okay? The pen is the chain of a pendulum, okay? We get rid of the pen, and it becomes the naked pendulum, and then that looks a bit like a swan. That is what the Swan by Bob Burns is. That's all it is, idiomotor response. It's pendulum work without the pendulum. And Swan, as I devised and told Bob Burns, stands for subconscious wave analytical negation. In other words, it's eyes open, waking state hypnosis. That's by the by. I helped Bob Burns to get his product to market and gave him advice on how to go about doing that in the best way. And then he blatantly denied that, and in various places stated that I was a liar and I'd made it up. And then he said, ultimately, I wasn't going to share, I couldn't share the evidence until he gave me permission, because that would break GDPR laws. But he blatantly turned around and said, if you got proof, publish it. So I did. Hence, if you go on my Facebook profile, facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist, click on photos, then click on albums and search through, and you'll find proof and evidence. One of the albums is proof and evidence that Bob Burns is guilty of defamation of character against me, and he's a liar. And I will call out other people when they lie, and you will see that at the links above or below this video, depending on where you see it. So that is why a lot of conference organisers wouldn't book me. Well, they wouldn't, because some of them I'd actually call out as frauds and liars, because they are. A lot of them. Not all of them, of course. Not all of them. I've got to say that. Do your own independent research, and if you follow the kind of links and information and advice given to you at the link where it's got 10 questions to ask any hypnosis trainer before spending a penny with them, if you search them out on Companies House, if they've got a limited company, but if not, use a Google search and you see if you can find them in newspapers, if they've ever been on TV, and actually do some due diligence first before spending money with them. And yeah, so what I'm saying about conferences is, just because somebody's speaking at a conference doesn't necessarily mean they're the best at what they claim to do. It just means they were prepared to pay for their travel expenses, their hotel, their food, their drink, any other associated expenses, to pay to present and pitch to a room of people to try and sell their products to you. But unfortunately, because of the perception of a conference being something professional and credible, it's not, it's just a marketing exercise generally. You, the end user, can end up thinking, the person spoken at this conference, and this conference, they must be really good. Well, actually, if you dig deeper, a lot of them don't have, lots do, but a number of them do not have social proof to back up having done anything of real note in the real world. The only time they appear to release videos of successfully treating people is in the training room, or it's videos that are done live with people who've been on courses with them, or it's videos that are done live, and they may be broadcast live, but with people that they've previously done therapy sessions on, which means they already know the person's fractionated to fuck. In other words, they're suggestible to... There's no risk involved there. They're not putting their neck on the line. They're not proving anything. It's bullshit. Anyway, the good news is somebody does have the balls to book me for a conference. Somebody also was prepared to put their hand in the pocket and cover expenses and whatnot. And that individual is the creator of Hypnosis, arguably the world's leading hypnotic hypnotherapy weight loss and weight management approach. Hypnosis, can't recommend it highly enough. And that is Steve Miller, who runs the Coaches and Hypnotherapists Facebook group, well worth joining, applying to join there. And he's got an event happening in September with his colleague Wayne Durana, who's someone who I actually helped originally taught as well, called Event 22, taking place in Birmingham, England. And if you're in a place in the world you can easily get to Birmingham, England, or you're in England, and basically wherever you are, I recommend you make that pilgrimage to secure your ticket today. That's link number 4 above or below, to Event 22. And come along. There are people that Steve Miller's vetted. He's done the investigation. He's made sure they've got the genuine social proof. He's made sure they've got a real turnover and a real profit. He's made sure they've got real media attention. He's made sure that they've got real clients and real results. And he's made sure that they've got feedback galore from people they've taught that have then gone on. They're not just students who are scraping a living. They've got loads of students who are actually doing really well and way above average, which is success leaves clues. And I'm glad to say that I've been engaged, proud and delighted to say I've been engaged as the keynote speaker for that event, but also I will be sharing 3 immensely powerful clinical hypnotherapy techniques with you, demonstrating them live on random people I've never met before. We'll throw a ball around the room to pick people at random, and I will do it for real, then teach how it's done in a manner where you can implement them straight away for massively increased results in your practice. And I guarantee my keynote speech will instill confidence and competence in you to a level whereby your certainty, charisma, conviction and ability for success is skyrocketed through the roof as you feel it in every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers. Event 22, September this year in Birmingham, England. Check out the link. Steve Miller's done his due diligence in the way I'm telling you you should before you spend a single penny with any hypnosis trainer. So with that in mind, that turns the fingers of blame. They say if you point a finger at somebody, 3 of them are pointing at you. So if I'm going, there's fraud, shysters and conmen out there, that means there's 3 pointing at me. Am I a fraud? Am I a shyster? Am I a conman? Well, no. But me saying that's not enough, is it? No. Because I could be lying about that. That's the oxymoron. That's why I say never take somebody's word for it. Actually do your due diligence and double check what they've said. So that is why I leave you to look at the other links above or below, which include Link number 5 is to my career resume, which is correct up to June 2020. I've not got round to updating it with the achievements of the past couple of years during the pandemic, which is mainly the fact that I've still remained in the industry and never needed to get another job or another form of income, unlike many out there who've had to do that. Link number 6 is a link to a free 61-page report, The Royal Road to Hypnotic Success. In there I give you all the evidence, details you need to back up my assertion that I am the world's, and I know it sounds egotistical and arrogant, but I am the world's best hypnotherapy, NLP, mind therapy, stage hypnosis, street hypnotism and psychological talking mind therapy trainer, and all related areas. Nobody comes even close. But all the links are there for you to check out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look at link number 7. Recent student comments from people I've taught or who've studied with me, mentored and coached with me, who are saying I am the best. Look at point number 8. Comments from people including famous name television life coaches, weight loss coaches, people who are filling 5-star theatres around the world, who've got their own TV shows around the world, and also medical professionals galore, medical doctors, plastic surgeons, cancer surgeons, saying I am the best hypnosis trainer on the planet. Check out link number 9 where you'll find stage hypnotists saying the same thing about my stage and street hypnosis training. Check out link number 10, which is a video link where I was interviewed by Greg Bornstein on his Open Loops podcast over a year ago, and I set out a challenge to all hypnotherapy, NLP, stage hypnosis, street hypnotism, hypnosis, psychological talking therapy trainers in the entire world, and none of them have had the balls, talent or ability to be able to take you up on that challenge. Listen to the video, and then in terms of the challenge, go and do your own independent research. Google is your friend, and you will find that I tick all the boxes of the things I claim on there, and the evidence is easy for anyone to find with a simple Google search. But that no other hypnosis trainer can tick all of those boxes. They might tick some of them, but they can't tick all of them because they haven't done what I've done in the real world. And they haven't had the level of success I've had in the real world, and the level of success that my students consistently have had in the real world. Not all of them. Some of my students, a few of them, the ones that haven't bothered to continue paying attention to marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion, which is the real key. Some of them are scraping a living, or some of them decided this industry wasn't for them. The vast majority, though, are doing way better than most people do on other courses, because I actually also teach people about marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion, and how to put themselves on the map. From experience, Law. I teach them from experience of having done it. Not textbook like most of them teach, although most courses teach you next to nothing about those things. And if they do, it's from textbooks, because the person teaching the course is doing it to pay their bills, because they can't earn enough money from seeing clients or doing shows or doing corporate presentation with their hypnosis skills, so they've had to start teaching other people. Well, that's not the case with me. I've got a career spanning, I'm into my 4th decade now with hypnosis, my 5th decade in show business, but 4th decade of hypnosis, and I've had the media, I've had the clients, because I'm doing it in the real world. In fact, I teach people as well. I do it as well. I do it as well, and it's the tiniest percentage. My biggest percentage is real world stuff. Although these days I'm practically semi-retired because I'm earning money while I'm asleep at night, and I'll teach you that as well, how to create multiple passive streams of income so you can earn more money while you're asleep at night than most people do while they're awake. Link number 10, as I say, is my challenge to all hypnosis trainers. Link number 11 and 12 above will explain to you why hypnotherapists owe a massive debt to stage hypnotists, and why without stage hypnotists like myself, I have been for many years, indeed the greatest hypnotherapy trainers of all time have been stage hypnotists. I explained that in the videos at point 11 and 12 above or below. Point number 13, there's a link to my comments on Carl Smith of the UK Hypnosis Academy. It's comments about scripts. He hates scriptnosis and speaks for a number of other people out there Generally speaking, I do in some context hate scriptnosis. I hate it in the sense of a course that only teaches you to read scripts, because that means you're not flexible, adaptable or dynamic, and you're not really very skilled at all. However, if you've been taught to improvise, be dynamic, be flexible, be adaptable and make things up in the moment, and you truly understand what hypnosis is and how it truly works, which incidentally, any course that tells you hypnosis exists and is a special state, they're lying to you. Any trainer who tells you that you cannot make people say or do things that contradict their moral codes, values or will, again, is lying to you. And MK Ultra, which was a CIA project, proves that you can make people do things against their will. And when you fully understand how that can be done, and then utilise those principles with an ethical intent and approach within the therapeutic context, it helps you become a more powerful, effective and consistently successful mind therapy practitioner. Hence, at point 14 above or below, we give you details of what I claim to be the world's greatest all-round hypnotherapy, NLP, hypnosis, street hypnotism, stage hypnotism, rapid hypnotic inductions, body language, stress management, tapping meridian therapies, eye movement therapies, and all complementary alternative medicine, holistic health approaches, psychotherapy, talking therapies, training package that not only teaches you all the techniques that anyone else could teach you, plus tons of stuff that none of them could ever teach you, because they've not been there and done it, but it'll also teach you all the marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion. Do your own due diligence. Check out the links above or below. Check out my challenge to all hypnosis trainers. Then ask yourself the big question. Why has nobody been able to take up that challenge in over a year? Why does nobody else offer a full 1 year, 100% satisfaction money back guarantee, which I do? Why does nobody offer you a guarantee that, for example, as I do, that you will earn at least £12,000 United Kingdom sterling, 12,000 euros or 12,000 United States dollars more bottom line profits, not turnover, I'm on about profits after expenses in the 12 months from signing up to my Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp course than you did in the previous 12 months, or your money back, because they don't have faith in the course and because they can't teach you a fraction of what's inside the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. That's why I've got the testimonials galore you can find above or below. That's why I've got the social proof I've had. That's why I've worked with celebrities. That's why I've been featured in the media around the world. That's why I've taught people who are now famous themselves on TV, filling 5-star theatres, selling books galore and are famous and blah, 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 blah. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anyone's word for it. At face value, do independent research. The links are there for you to follow to A, protect yourself against the liars, the frauds, the cheats, the shysters, and B, to find the people who actually tell you the truth. The truth often hurts, and beware. The way I teach stuff is shockingly truthful, profanity, swearing galore, and stuff that will shake your beliefs to the core. But if you want the best possible training on the planet, check out the links above or below and inbox me if you've got any questions. Protect yourself. Way too many shysters, liars and fraudsters out there. Bye for now.